In today's video, we're checking out ARIA Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. If your goal is to find a food-centric option in the heart of the Strip, this is one of the best picks. We'll look at a standard room, some strategies for booking, amenities, and some of our favorite food options. Big favor before we dive in is to give this a thumbs up to help with the algorithm, and if you're new and want to travel smarter, consider subscribing. Hello and welcome to the standard room at ARIA. We do have a city view, and it's kind of facing Cosmo as well as the parking structure. It's not a bad view though, to be honest, because you kind of see the whole internal works of the area, and I kind of dig it, but might not be for everyone. So on the left, you have the parking garage as well as Bellagio, across is Vidara, and then Cosmo, and then parking or Uber pickup for ARIA. The room's not bad, but there are a bunch of quirks and it's showing its age. First up is going to be a seat over here, which is a great spot to either relax, do some work, or just hang out. We have two beds over here. Bad test. It's okay. I don't know what to think. Yeah, it's kind of weird. It creaks. Feels like a bit of an old spring bed, a bit firm. So if you like firm beds, not too bad. Pillows are a bit flatter than I'd like, but not bad. Bunch of lights in the back. There also are tablets to control pretty much everything in the room, whether it's room service, takeout, or details about the property. We also have Giannis. Safe is also going to be down here. It's pretty sizable. Spinning back around, let's talk about some quirks. We don't use the mini bar, but one thing we noticed was that it's not actually plugged in properly. So these cans are not cold, like it's warm in here. When I first opened this up, it smelled really musty, like a fridge that hasn't been cold in a while. So don't know what's going on there. I'm guessing it's still weighted, but you would expect it to be cold. More mini bar snacks up here. Up here is the TV. It is a bit small, but we don't really use TVs on these trips, so not a big deal to me. What I do find annoying though is the seat. So I usually like to get some work done on these trips, and the ergonomics here are terrible. So first off, I'm not the shortest person, but like I would need to be like up here in order to actually be in a good spot. I'm like 5'11", and it's not a good time. And then number two is the fact that the seat is pretty busted. It's no longer a seat. It's kind of like a reverse one where you just fall into it. It's hard to explain, but it feels like there's no support. It feels like it's caved in on itself. Ironically, same with that seat too. So yeah, I feel like it is due for an update for some of the furniture, whether the beds or the chairs. Another one too is the air conditioner. So when we first got in, it was pretty warm. We bumped it down from like 70 something down to like 65 as low as we could, and it's still at 77. So I feel like it can't really handle the demand. Like our plan wasn't to leave it at 64. We would probably like leave it at like 70 or like 69. But the fact that we've had it at 64 and it hasn't dropped at all is pretty telling. But yeah, very much feels like the internal system just can't handle the heat. Over here, some art, and if you study biology, it might remind you of a few things. Heading over here, we have the main area. So giant mirror over here, almost full body. Over here, we have two cabinets. So let's do this one first. Pretty gigantic. Ow. You can fully fit in here, and ironically, it's colder in here for some reason. That's strange. Not much going on here other than some plastic bags, which are by MGM. Interesting. No slippers or anything else. Over here is some more art. Same idea. It kind of looks like you're looking at bacteria. Some pretty advanced bacteria, mind you. Some more drawers over here. So if you are staying here for a bit longer, then plenty of room to sprawl out. Here is going to be the second one. Over here are two robes, ARIA proper and Sky Suites. ARIA one is a bit heavier than the Sky Suites one, but this one also feels a bit nicer. Kind of curious what happened, whether this got deprecated or something and they no longer need it over there, or maybe it's just worn out and they want to keep things new. In addition, there is an iron and an ironing board. Spinning around over here, we have the bathroom area. So three parts. Number one is back here. Very straightforward toilet, very no frills, no fan or anything else, just what it is. And you have picture frame to do your business. Over here is a sink, double vanity, some lights over here, cups, and then hand wash as well as lotion, which is going to be white labeled for ARIA. Definitely showing some wear and tear, so chipping on this, some staining, and then more chipping in this corner. So small things, probably doesn't matter to most people here, but you might notice it if you stay at a lot of hotels. Over here is going to be the bathroom area. So pretty standard for the most part. Oh, not the tallest. I can put my full hand on it. Shower is going to be single, normal one. Haven't tried it yet, but I'll tell you later on. Looks pretty standard though, and there is a tub down here. The tub is wet, so I'm not sure if this is going to be a mistake. The tub is a bit tight. It's kind of an egg shape, an oval. I'm 5'11". I'm not comfortable. I think if you're like 5'5", you'd probably be comfortable. That's okay. It's very tight. Shampoo, conditioner, and body wash. Same thing, white labeled for ARIA. In terms of where we are right over here, and I think all the rooms on this floor are pretty much exactly the same. Some look a tad bit bigger. Yeah, more or less the same, nothing too crazy, other than maybe that one big one. All right, let's check out the rest of the property. Like other hotels in Vegas, ARIA's pricing is driven by demand. Generally speaking, it spikes on weekends, especially on Friday and Saturday nights. Sundays and weekdays tend to be cheaper outside of conferences. Also last-minute pricing, so same month, tends to be a lot cheaper than booking way ahead. For example, I'm editing this in early September, and this is what the calendar looks like. Fast forward a month to October, and prices are quite a bit higher. If you're not comfortable with last minute, I'd opt for flexible rates, so you can cancel and rebook if it makes sense. If you have Bonvoy points, I'd recommend checking points prices. So this is what the points calendar looks like for October, and there's a ton of dates where a 35K certificate would easily work. For example, lots of 24K nights and also some other sub 30 nights. You can also top off with up to 15K points, so anything under 50K works. If we overlay both of these calendars for October, you're getting pretty solid value for the 35K free night certificates, especially if you're paying a sub $100 annual fee to get it. During our stay, there were a bunch of options that worked, including Bellagio, ARIA, and Cosmo. Not the craziest value, but sometimes it's nice to lock it in. If you don't have points or certificates, or the value just isn't there, I'd probably use a portal. For example, ARIA is part of the Hotel Collection within American Express. There is a 2-night minimum, but you get additional benefits like early check-in, room upgrades, $100 credit, and late checkout when available. Run the numbers for your stay and pick the option that makes the most sense. If you are debating the gold card or platinum card to get access to the Hotel Collection, we have calculators for both. Check the math to see that the cards work for you. I'll link it down below, but they should also pop up if you Google Amex Platinum Worth It Ask Sebby. On a side note, if you want to learn more about cards, we have links on the website asksebby.com and also down below in the description box. Make sure the links are competitive, but otherwise, it's a huge way to support the channel, so thank you in advance. Let's talk location, because this is one of ARIA's biggest strengths. ARIA sits right in the middle of the Las Vegas Strip, tucked inside the city center complex, which also includes Vdara, Waldorf Astoria, and the shops at Crystals. If you're into shopping or people watching, this is one of the best spots you can pick. To the north, you've got Bellagio, home to the iconic fountains and one of the most underrated free attractions in Vegas, the Conservatory and Botanical Gardens. It's a massive glass atrium filled with seasonal floral displays that rotate 5 times a year: spring, summer, fall, winter, and Lunar New Year. Each display is designed by a team of over 100 horticulturists and cost upwards of $1 million to build. It's one of the most photographed interiors in Vegas for a reason. Back to ARIA, they usually have a display as well in their lobby. Not as impressive, but still nice. For our stay, it was horoscopes and astrology. To the south, it's a short walk to Park MGM, Dolby Live Theater, and T-Mobile Arena. Right next door, you've got Cosmopolitan, which has a ton of food options as well. Also just great to walk through since it's pretty nice and there's always something to see. Last up is the shops at Crystals. There's a ton of luxury stores here if that's your jam. We usually just window shop and also walk around for fun, so don't feel forced to buy stuff. If you're doing Vegas without a rental car, this location is extremely efficient. Covered pedestrian bridges and a free tram system connect you to Bellagio and Park MGM in just a few minutes. You avoid the Uber chaos and the 30-minute strip walks in 110 degrees heat. Even when you need to step outside, it's going to be for short stints to cross a bridge or go between buildings. Main idea, if you care about walkability, access to events, and being close to great food and luxury shopping, ARIA's location is tough to beat. It's central, it's convenient, and it puts you in the middle of everything, without feeling chaotic. Moving to amenities, there's 3 key features: the pool, gym, and spa. ARIA gives you 3 main pools in an elliptical layout, and it's one of the better balanced pool scenes on the Strip. It's upscale, but not pretentious. It doesn't try to be a beach club unless you want it to. There's a good amount of space, the loungers don't feel stacked shoulder to shoulder, and if you're willing to go early or book a cabana, you can carve out your own zone pretty easily. If you're staying in a sky suite, you get access to the sky pool, which is basically a VIP pool for the VIP guests. Jumping over to the fitness center, you're looking at over 6,000 square feet of space with full techno gym equipment. Everything from free weights to treadmills with real-time metrics and app syncing.
There's even a rock climbing wall built into the space, which is a fun change of pace if you don't want to do another treadmill session. You can also control the speed as well, meaning you can make it more or less challenging. One feature we've heard great things about but haven't tried ourselves is the spa. It's the largest Forbes 5-star spa in the world. They've got all the basics plus a bunch of specialty options. This includes a Shio salt room with Himalayan salt walls and sound therapy, Ganbanyoku heated stone beds imported from Japan, red light therapy, cold plunges, and outdoor whirlpool. If you don't want to book a treatment, you can just get a spa day pass, usually around $75, and still access the salt room, hot-cold circuits, and recovery areas. Pretty solid amenities whether you want to swim, get a workout in, or relax in the spa. ARIA has one of the best on-property restaurant rosters on the Strip. For context, even when we stay at other hotels on the other side of the Strip, like Resorts World, Palazzo, or Four Seasons, we somehow end up back at ARIA for a meal or two. You're looking at over 20 dining options, from quick bites to fine dining, all within walking distance of your room. For example, there's Carbone for Italian-American, Jean-Georges Steakhouse for beef, Bardot Brasserie by Michael Minat for modern French, and Catch for seafood. Also lots of mid-range options like Din Tai Fung for soup dumplings, Lemongrass for Thai, Javier's for Mexican, and Blossom for Cantonese. If you want fast casual, there's Proper Eats Food Hall that has a lot of smaller stalls, but still good eats, along with late night favorites like Moneyline Pizza. Every meal covers a vibe, from luxury to fast casual, so you can pick your poison when hunger hits. Two of our favorites and go-to options are Carbone and Din Tai Fung. First up, we're heading to Carbone, probably one of the most iconic restaurants at ARIA and easily one of the hardest to book. Carbone is a throwback to old-school Italian-American dining. Think red leather banquettes, white jacket servers, and big bold over-the-top dishes. It started in New York, and the Vegas location brings that same energy.
Alright, so we're at Carbone for dinner, and starting off some cheese and bread. There's a few different types, and it's all really good. I like bread, so no complaints. Garlic bread is probably number one for me. And the next one is the cheese bread. You also get some cheese. Really good. Some salami. And last is pickled cauliflower. Note that all of these are free and are part of the meal. So yeah, you might not want to order that much food if you are not a big eater. Alright, so the first two items have arrived. First up is the spicy rigatoni. We did end up getting one order, but they offered to split it into two different plates, so it made it super easy. This is my plate, and then this is Mandy's plate. Let's give it a taste. Perfectly cooked, great flavors. Really good. If your focus is technique and flavor, then it's a must-get dish. At the same time, it's not the most substantive, so if you are looking to get full, I think you might not be the most happy given the price and the size of the portions. To me at least, the best bet is treating it as an appetizer and sharing it with someone else. Yeah, great flavors and almost a bit addicting. So it's not that spicy, it kind of just adds a little tingle to it, but it's that tingle that you keep enjoying and wanting more of. The sauce is nice and creamy with a bit of a tang as well. It's kind of sad because I know I need to review the next dish and I keep taking bites of this because it's not good. Dish number 2 is the meatballs. It is off menu, but you can still try to order it. You're gonna get 3 gigantic meatballs in a sauce. So for example, it's pretty hefty. Cutting in half, it's perfectly done. The blend feels a bit different than other meatballs I've had, so really good. If you like meat, if you want some protein, good add-on to the pasta. Also, in case you're wondering about the meatballs, the reason it's different is because instead of just beef, they use a blend of pork as well as veal and beef. Works really well and well worth considering getting. Pro tip number 2 is to order additional bread if you want it. So it is free, you don't have to get the whole basket again. We end up getting more garlic bread. Garlic bread is the number 1 to me, and then they also make it fresh. So when you do order it, you have to wait about 5 to 6 minutes while they heat it up. That's really good. Last up is the veal. It's breaded, lightly fried, comes in a marinara sauce, and then cheese melted on top. Let's give it a taste. It's a good bite, so great flavors. I think it's just okay though. Probably making enemies because this is the second most popular dish here. But yeah, I'm not as blown away as other items. Maybe it's a preference thing, but I think I prefer the type that's more fried rather than the ones covered with sauce. Not too bad to try though, especially if it is your first time. They do cut it into 4s, so easy to share whether you have a party of 4 or 2. Pretty much giant pieces of meat. Along with that, you also get a bone to finish off and enjoy at the end. That's really good. The bone's really well flavored. Wow. I think I could easily eat 4 of these. Delicious. Your mileage may vary depending on what you like, but I would skip this one. Last up are the rainbow cookies. So it is a color of the Italian flag, green, white, and red. That's really good. It's not too sweet, pretty dense. No, super good flavors. It's kind of an almond flavor, kind of like a mascarpone, but a bit lighter. Really, really good. All right, so it's 10 p.m. Just go back to the room. When we first did the room tour, one of the big complaints was that the air conditioner didn't really go down that much. So we kind of knocked it all the way down as far as we could, down to 64. And when we left, it was at 77, and now it's at 76, and it hasn't really moved. We ended up going downstairs to talk to them about it. They sadly don't have that many spare rooms, so I think they do have a few, but for them, they'd rather have those available to sell if possible for any last-minute arrivals, and instead they ended up giving us a $75 credit for food and beverage. The delta between what they can charge for that room and $75 is too big, so it just doesn't make sense. Basically, they make more money selling the room than letting us switch to it and having this being a dead room. They are sending a technician to take a look at it, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm hoping they are able to fix it because otherwise it's not going to be fun to sleep. Also, funny enough, the hallway is a bit cooler, so I would think it's like low 70s. We were standing outside to cool it down before, which is kind of crazy, but we can't really leave the door open all night because that's kind of weird too in Vegas. Like, I don't want to switch rooms if possible, ideally. For lunch, we're at Din Tai Fung, which is one of our favorite restaurants. We ended up ordering our 2 go-to items, the silong bao and also the beef noodles. Let's start with the silong bao, the soup dumplings. Step number 1 is to add the sauce. You generally want to do 3 parts soy sauce and 1 part vinegar. You then take the chopsticks and grab the dumpling without popping it. Main reason being that there's soup inside. I just like to grab it from the top because that's the safest spot. You give it a few dips and you're good to go. If it's super hot, one technique is to bite the top off to let it steam out. Inside there's meat and soup. You can also use a bit of ginger for each piece as well, and it kind of changed the flavor. Item number 2 is the beef noodles. It is technically spicy, but it's not too aggressive. So for example, Mandy doesn't like spicy, but she's fine with this.
It's good.
It's gonna be noodles, brisket, veggies, and pretty decent portions for the price. You get about, say like 5 or 6 pieces of brisket. Note that what you're seeing is kind of half eaten by Mandy already, so it was a lot fuller. She had 2 bowls already. Not for everyone, but one other thing I like to add is a bit of spicy chili oil. It's spicy noodles and just brings out even more flavors and really good to me. One of the best and most consistent beef noodles you can get in the US. Same with the soup dumplings, which is their signature. Also, if you don't eat pork, they do have a chicken and beef one as well, so you have a few choices. Pork is the signature and the original one though. Beef isn't bad, but I find chicken a bit okay only. Also, if you are in a dessert mood, they have one of my favorite desserts, which is going to be Taiwanese shaved ice. Okay, so I ended up redeeming some brownie points of Mandy for dessert. Hopefully, it's a good redemption. So this is going to be a classic Taiwanese dessert. Soft, fluffy shaved snow made from whole milk, crowned with fresh mango, and a drizzle of our signature sweet and tart mango sauce and creamy condensed milk. One of the reasons why I wanted to get this one instead of other shaved ice is because it's actually using milk as the base, so it's a block of milk rather than a block of water. So ones we usually skip are the ones that are just water and you add like syrup on top. This is actually milk. Pretty sizable too, so it's meant to feed 4, and for me, I think it would happily feed 2 Sebbys, so pretty good amount. You have the milk snow, mango, some sauce, and some condensed milk that you can't really see. That's really good. If you want a nice refreshing dessert that's a bit sweet, and this is perfect. The mangoes are not in season, I think, or not the sweetest, but the rest of it is, so it works out. If anything, it kind of acts as a counterbalance and as a tang and sourness to it.
Overall, ARIA still holds up as one of the best all-around resorts on the Strip, especially if you're looking for something food-focused while located in upscale without being over the top. The rooms are solid, the location is extremely central, the spa and gym are among the best in Vegas, and the dining lineup punches way above average. Whether you're here for a quick weekend trip or something longer, it's a property that's easy to navigate and hard to beat if you're using points, certificates, or travel credits. Again, if you want to learn about cards to get free night certificates or access to booking portals, we have links on the website asksebby.com and also down below in the description box. Thank you in advance, and it means a ton. If you made it to this point, leave a pawn emoji in the comments down below and I'll try to heart it and respond. 3 questions: what are your thoughts on ARIA and would you stay here? When visiting Vegas, are you optimizing for location, food, or something else? Also, what are your must-eat spots for Vegas trips? Let me know and everyone else know in the comments down below. Big favorite thumbs up, share this, but otherwise hope you liked it. See you on the road.